conditional uses permit in B1. And is there a Keith Andrew Kovich?
Yes.
Okay, have you signed it, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And who usually does the swearing in?
Karen can.
I can do it. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, tells the that.
Yes.
All right, if you want to step up in front here, sir, and let us know what's going on here.
Can I sit?
No, got any extra coffee there?
No, I wish I did.
Donuts?
Looked at the building when it went up for sale, and it, I toured it with John and the realtor, and I've been looking. Well, a little backtrack. My business has been in East Lake for 19 years, over on 361st, and been looking for real estate in various cities to fit my needs. And then when this came available, the building was perfect, fit my needs, and then the lot not next door, but the adjoining lot, which had the campers, I'm like, perfect, I didn't need the lot anyways, it looks like a great use, it's been there for 10 years. The building itself housed a concrete guy, a landscaper, and a home improvement guy, and I said, well, I can use the whole building and then, have the campers as the storage, and continue the storage thing. And then, actually Chuck was there, the other partner or whatever, and I asked him, I said, has there been any issue with the city with this? He said, no, we went through all the, recommended or proper channels when we did it 10 years ago when we bought it from the city, and he said, they've been great. So I had no need to really think about calling Dave to check in on the usage. Put the deal together, and I said, well, let me just call him, at least introduce myself to Dave, and that's when he said, hey, conditional use permits are not transferable, so make sure you get on the docket, get one approved, so it's a seamless transition. And he was very helpful and informative. So that's why we're here.
Did you buy the property?
It is currently under contract, yes.
Okay, under contract and closing, that's...
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. And the conditional use permit is to continue outside storage of campers and et cetera, is what it says. And that's what your intentions are, is to continue...
Correct.
Okay.
What kind of business? Are you moving there?
I have a landscaping business.
Okay. What's the name of your new business?
Willow Skate.
Willow Skate?
Yes.
I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, years ago, this came to us for the storage out there with the campers and all, and we actually said, no, you can't do that. It wasn't enforced though, for some reason, I don't know why. And the reason we said no at that time was because it looked like a junkyard, okay? And it really was an eyesore. So, I mean, this is going back, it could have been 8 years ago. So I don't know if someone said there wasn't a problem before. I don't know, who said that, the guy who bought the land from, probably because I believe at that time he was threatening to go to court and things like that. Randy would know that better than I.
Well, I think what happened, it came to us when I was on council and it passed
So
through
you passed it?
there. Yeah,
Okay.
because I remember, what was the other gentleman?
I can give you a little bit.
Yeah, Earl Ham. So when I was on council, because I remember now when you bring that up, that it went through council and then it got passed to council, because I think Randy and Mr. Ham's attorney at the time had things, so it did pass.
That was in '05.
Yes, that's when I first came on, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was '05.
Yeah, I've never been, I guess, good for us to know that they
So the way,
overruled it.
when this gentleman came to me about buying it, and I said to him, it has a conditional use permit, they're not transferable, so you have to come back to the board with the hopes of having it renewed. So
What I like in what you wrote up, you talk about screening and making enhancements. Because, I mean, if I lived on that street, it looks bad.
no disagreement there.
And as the city is trying to clean a lot of things up, we talk about Vine Street cleaning it up, just because it's off down the road, doesn't make it right.
Oh, absolutely.
do like the fact that you talk about cleaning it up, making enhancements to the property, probably screening, I mean, putting screening around that fence and, you know, covering things up, you know.
Well, that was the first thing I mentioned to Dave. I said, you know, I'm all for working with you guys, because I see the potential in the property. I don't want to say not much has been done in the 10 years of ownership, but it can use a good once-over.
I don't think much has been done.
I just, from the building point, well, I have not had any complaints on it since I've been here. And it is in a B1 district, so everyone, it's not residential, it is.
I understand
B1.
that.
No, just so it's on the record.
Yeah, it is a B1, and we know what the qualifications are for B1.
Right. That's why
I'm
it has a
just
conditional.
letting you know what our experience was as a group and what we went through,
And I appreciate that, because I did not know that.
you know. So, you know, that's my take on it. I understand that it is usable property. It's a nice place to, you know, store your equipment and to do things there.
There's not much you can do with an old fire station, short of.
Right.
And then when I saw it, and literally, like I said, I moved quick because the urgency of not only my season, but the price point, the property, everything was just like, bang, this is perfect. Within 4 days on the market, I placed an offer. There were multiple offers, and I didn't want to lose out. I've lost out on a lot of buildings that way. And I said, you know, we're not going to, you know, mess around here. And I did want to, you know, I love the city and the location where it's at. For my personal business, I mean, it's perfect.
So what do you, Mr. Wren, what do you know about the property condition and the fencing and any of those types of things as far as what's ordinance-wise that's right, you know, that should be regulated? Does it meet all the criteria there?
Well, as far as the conditional, again, it's a conditional use permit. When he takes occupant of the property, we will do, the fire marshal and myself will go through the property. We'll walk the property and see if there's any kind of violations inside the building or even with possible things being parked out there. And if there is, he'll have to make, or whoever owns it will have to make corrections. So that is part of the, you know, of him buying it, he has to have an occupant permit too.
And really going forward, not to interject, but my vision, just so you guys know, you know, I run a landscape business. I'm not, you know, in the junkyard business. If it has to come in on a tow truck, keep it going. You know, I mean, I'm thinking of, I don't want to say high-end, but usable campers, trailers, like there's 4 or 5 on the property now. Everything else can go, and I would like to see, you know, I don't need those spots rented, so I can be selective on, you know, oh, I need to store this old junky car. Well, they're not here, you know, take it to Willoughby, you know, whatever. Well, I mean, there's plenty of those up on Vine and Willoughby. So.
Yeah, I just drove by it this week, or last week, just to look at it, and it, you know, looked like it was in order, and it wasn't, I think back then, things were just everywhere and all over the place, so, I don't know. Back, I mean, it wasn't '05, so I don't remember, I just remember Mr. Ham coming to the council
It
meeting.
was trashy.
Yeah, so.
There's
I have
possible, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I have a question though, maybe Mr. Mayor, you know the answer to this. Why did council pass it?
I don't remember verbatim, but I mean, I know Randy, we had meetings with Randy, and I think at that time said that if we had a lawsuit, we would not win because of the way it's zoned and everything, so I think that was the biggest part of it.
Okay, all right.
You know, I think, and whether they kept on it back 10 years ago on keeping it up to date, or up to keeping it clean and that, I don't, you know.
Okay.
But I think that's the big part of it, and that was a decision, I think, from council's point back then, that I remember.
So
That's
from
when I
a legal
first came-
standpoint,
yeah, it's when I
there's
first
certainly
came up,
nothing
right.
stopping it.
Yeah, there's nothing that we could really do.
All right, yeah. All right. Is there any more everybody? You know, the only thing that this commission can do is, you know, go by the ordinances and go by the law in a whole. That's what the commission is for.
And if we do run into problems, because it is a conditional use permit, if I foresee problems down the road, then there's a chance the conditional use permit can be pulled also.
I mean, I don't see any issues.
Yeah.
in what you're saying.
Exactly.
No, no,
Right,
no.
right. Okay, in that spirit, then I'll look for a motion to either accept or decline.
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve it based on the review of the fire marshal and the building department. And I would encourage you to do, as you say in your letter, that you're gonna enhance the property and potentially screen it out to make it look a little more pleasing to the eyes for the neighborhood and any visitors that drive through there.
Second?
Second.
Sure.
Okay. All right, well, you're a landscaper, for goodness sakes, I'm sure you can do that, can't you? All right, it's been passed by this one way, so thank you for that.
Okay, Katie.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Call me more, please.
Okay.
Under old business, we have none, unfinished business. This is not on the agenda, but is there any business to cover? Okay, correspondence.
Good night, gentlemen.
Take care.
And now we have approval of the minutes, February 23rd. Do we have quorum for that?
We do.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All right, if there's no more business, then I look for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, second.
7:11.
Use it.
Well, the four of you, I have a